What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 32 of Get Bucked. I'm your host, Ryan. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Jackson. Jackson, how's it going today?
Going good, man. How about you?
Going well. We're going to be going over the late pick five for tomorrow, Black-Eyed Susan Day at Pimlico Racecourse. Cheers to that. Oh, it's still hotter than hell in this room. But yeah, we're gonna jam through it. This sequence was tough. I don't know what you thought. What were your opinions as you handicapped this sequence?
Yeah, just did a Saturday show, and there's a couple tough races there on Saturday, but there's a few others you can narrow down. Tomorrow, Friday, there's some impossible races. I mean, if there's no big prices tomorrow, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. They were very, very tough, and they're deep competitive fields, so I'm looking forward to it.
They were. We're going to get into it, and I'm honestly pretty excited because it's going to be a lot of fun. I do have prices in my tickets. I'm sure you do in yours as well. I haven't taken too much of a look. We're going to break it down a little bit different. We did it a little bit last week. We're going to throw up our pick five tickets, and we're just going to go through the sequence as we see it. And we'll talk through the horses that we used. I'll just adjust this real quick. There we go. All right. Race number 9, rather. First leg of the late pick five sequence. It's the Hilltop Stakes going a mile on the turf. Pick five tickets are up. I went 2-8. Jackson went 2-6. So we got to start with the number 2, Play with Fire. Lead it away 6-1 on this Brendan Walsh training.
Yeah, she's really done nothing wrong in any of her turf starts. I mean, obviously popped the big number on debut and hasn't quite been able to replicate that, at least on buyer time form she has. I just thought her last 2 races were better than it looked. She kind of moved into the fastest part of the race both times, didn't quite sustain that biz. Maybe just more mistimed moves more than anything, rather than it being like an ability thing. And oh, look and behold, look who's showing up to ride. Possibly the jockey with the best time in the entire country now, Flavian Pratt. Fathers to take over, big positive there, obviously. Looks like there's enough speed. I think the 3 is going to be pretty quick, me governor. And maybe the 8 is the other speed horse. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
there's a couple of speed horses in there, and I think Play with Fire is just going to sit that pocket trip. The 7 is another speed. White Rocks. I think Pratt's going to have her in a good spot. Probably not too far off of it. She'll probably be the one that gets first jump on the closers. If they do go super fast, he'll probably just take her a couple lengths further back. And I think she's got a big shot in here, and she's going to be a much better price than the 8, apparently, who is the morning line favorite. I don't want anything to do with that horse, to be honest. Or is it the 8? It's the Gulfstream horse. The Gulfstream horse.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't need that horse at all. I mean, anytime the championship meet ends, those maiden fields get much less competitive. And this horse, I know she won at Presley. The number came back just okay. I mean, that number is by no means a standout at all. I mean, it makes her competitive in here, but 5-2 is way too short of a price for me. I don't need her at all.
Look, we disagree a little bit on that. I use the 8 in my pick 5. My A is the 2, I should say. But I wanted to use the 8 because I'm going to be spreading elsewhere. And this one was logical. It looked like a bit of a light bulb angle last time out. Todd Pletcher sent this one out second time out. You mentioned, maybe the fact that it wasn't the championship meet. And typically I don't like when he starts horses turf sprinting at Gulfstream Park or just in general, seeing as he's typically better around 2 turns as a trainer. But either way, this one put it together when she stretched out. So I want to give this one a shot. I use this one. I don't want to say defensively, but I had this one as a B, so I wanted to include him on my ticket. You'll see why later as we get into some of the deeper legs of the sequence. But I was pretty close to just singling the 2 and moving on. I see that you used the number 6 pretty lavish for our guy Graham Motion, Eclipse Thoroughbreds Irad Ortiz. What did you like about this runner?
Yeah, this one would be my top pick, but it's very close. It's kind of like 51-49 between the 2, so I'll use them basically equally. Her American debut was really good. I thought it's not like they flew that day. They went honest, but they were not flying on the front end. She made up a lot of ground. Got a well-timed ride from Irad. What else is new? This is what he does. He comes from off the pace on these deep closers. And then last time just got thrown to the wolves a little bit and just didn't really show up. And with the Lasix, was it just a bad day? I don't know. Obviously, a very stark contrast between start 1 and start 2 in America. She obviously has the win over the soft going, which is going to be important. It does seem like it's supposed to rain on Friday quite a bit. So that's definitely a point in her favor. Motion, Irad, a lot of things to like. Horse has a big turn of foot, which can sometimes maybe I'm looking into last year too much when it poured and the turf course got a little closer friendly. So maybe that's the case with this horse as well.
So I'm looking at the weather forecast right now because that's everybody's favorite game as we approach these big. Looking like it's only supposed to get 0.2 inches of rain. Obviously, I'll be touching down in Baltimore around about 22 hours from now. So I'll send you a text and I'll keep you posted. But either way, it looks like it's going to be 90 degrees and raining, and it might be a little bit muggy out there. Either way,
too late for this race.
Yeah, going to be too late. So anyway, yeah, might be some give in the ground. That wouldn't surprise me. I think I'm going to get there maybe just in time for this race, maybe a little bit after, but we'll see. Yeah, pretty lavish. Another one I think is definitely a contender in this spot. So that was the first leg. Any other runner? Well, we should talk about White Rocks because you and I both talked about this horse before at Turfway Park, and yeah, this is definitely going to be a big pace factor. I don't like her in here being able to hold on the pace. I think Me Governor, who's the 3. As you mentioned, another factor of the pace. We actually talked about this runner last week, scratched out of a race at Churchill and then skipped up to this spot. Interesting that they scratch her out of a sprint race at Churchill Downs on turf, and then they go long up at Pimlico. I don't know what you want to look into that, if anything at all, but certainly interesting. I think those two are probably going to be part of the pace, and I don't really see either of them finishing in the top 2. And JD Fox is in here as a horse player. I really regret not getting a minor in meteorology. He's got some good comments. I agree. That's all we're missing, really, is if we get a third co-host that's a meteorologist, we basically have it locked down. But anybody else you wanted to talk about in this race, Jackson, as we kick off the pick 5?
No, the 3 and 7 are interesting. I feel like they're gonna get each other's way a little bit. The 7's a horse I've been on the right side of a couple times over at Turfway. I just thought she should have ran better than she did last time in the Bourbonette when she really had things her own way and didn't run that well. Maybe the turf moves her up. She's supposed to handle it based on the breeding, and she's run well the synthetic, so it usually translates. But this is a much tougher group than what she faced last time. And then the 3, I agree. I think they scratched maybe just to try to avoid She's So Spicy, and the way the horse ran is probably the right move because she aired. I don't know. She's interesting because she doesn't really need the lead. But if they do want to go, she can absolutely get it. So she'd be the one that scares me a little bit. I'm not going to use her, but she's the one I fear the most.
No doubt. Last one I'll talk about is the number 9, Sigh No More, with our favorite no rider listed. He's on a few mounts, as we joked about yesterday on Pacific Horse Players. But I didn't know what to do with this one. Probably going to prefer the soft turf if I had to guess, just based on her kind of European form coming in here. Obviously, ambitious spot. What did you make anything of this one? 4-1 on the morning line. It's probably going to be a kind of play the board type situation. If she's taking a lot of money, I might add her onto my tickets. But if she's looking a little cold on the board, probably one I'm not going to play.
100%. We have the benefits from the board in this pick 5. This is the one I don't know anything about. I don't know who's riding, obviously. I don't know anything about the horse. So if the board opens up, she's taking a lot of money, then I'm definitely going to take note and probably upgrade her. But if she's sitting a little chilly, then I'm not gonna bother using her.
There we go. That's leg number 1. Goes as race 9. I went 2-8. Jackson went 2-6. Next leg, it's a 6 furlong Miss Preakness Stakes, a grade 3. I went 5, 7, 10, 11, 12. Jackson went 4, 5, 6, 8, 12. So we both went 5 deep, and we only used, I think, 2 overlapping horses. So we're going to go ahead and talk about just about every runner in this field. We're going to start with the number 4, GW's Girl. 2 sprint wins at Oaklawn Park during their meet, and then a bad sloppy track appearance in the grade 2 Beaumont Stakes. What'd you make of this runner coming in here?
Yeah, well, obviously the Beaumont is got to figure out what happened there because she was really, really bad. She took a lot of money that day. Was it the off-going? Was it just a bad day? Again, we have no way of knowing because it was too bad to be believed. Her form prior to that was great. I mean, won the debut, had a lot of trouble in the Indian summer last year at Keeneland, still ran well. Then she came back and she beat She's So Spicy on the square at Oaklawn. We know how good that filly is. She's probably the best sprinter filly on either surface right now in the country. And then, came back and won, did what she was supposed to do at odds on at Oaklawn. Got really good numbers for both those performances. She's very versatile. She can be on the lead. She can be just off of it. She can come way out of it. So I love that, of course. It's just about what the heck happened last time. But at 12-1, I'm going to make her my top pick. I'm willing to find out just because it was too bad to be believed. I think I've talked about this before. If she had regressed 10 points, I think I'd be more concerned about that because maybe she just going the wrong way. But she's obviously way better than that 39. I mean, there's just no way that's what she is now in that short of a time. So I'm going to use her on top. I will probably come back and play another ticket just using her as well.
I like that. Yeah, no, this is one I wasn't sure what to do with at all. I thought maybe just really love the Oaklawn surface, but maybe, yeah, last time was just a really bad effort over the wet going. That being said, tomorrow might be a little bit of wet going at Pimlico. So I'm not including this one right now, but I'm with you. If I wheel back for the pick 4, she's going to be one that I will use on my tickets. Again, if she's looking live, I feel like that would be the smart thing to do. Should take some money. Paco Lopez aboard, should sit the right kind of stalking trip, and she started to sit that exact trip last time out in the Beaumont, exactly where she wants to be, and then just really had nothing. So one of those head scratching performances. But we'll see if maybe getting Paco Lopez aboard up at Pimlico, maybe that sharpens her up a bit. We'll go with one of my uses, the number 5 family. First time in the barn for Safi Joseph, who I don't use a whole lot in stakes outside of Gulfstream Park, but he's decent up at Maryland. This is a good sprinter. Has to prove it on dirt, but looking at the breeding, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Certainly a quick one early, so you know where she's going to be. Again, Irad, we spoke about this yesterday, Jackson. He's not one that's going to be overly aggressive to get the lead, but this looks like one of those where he's going to, if he breaks sharp like she has in, one of her 2. She didn't break too sharp on debut, but if she breaks sharp, I could see her out on the lead. If she doesn't, I could see her sitting maybe just off the leader's flank, something like that. But Irad is certainly going to have this one in position to hopefully finish things off. It's just going to be a matter of if she can kind of rate her speed. So I'm interested to see on that, but I feel like 6-1 is a decent price. I'm hoping she doesn't get too overbet in that spot.
Yeah, I think she could prove best at the speed in here. That's why I used her. Really good numbers at Turfway, good Turfway form, was ahead behind Bourbon Memory after doing all the dirty work. We know how good she was this winter over at Turfway. So, yeah, must use, I think. I think she's going to be winging it on the front end.
Speaking of, we got to get our guy Tony Kalo back on the show because I miss that voice. It's always fun hearing him talk about the races. All right, number 6, Stunner for Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt. I guess it's Stunner. But, what'd you like about this runner? 4-1, but I almost think this one's going to go off favored.
She very well could. Really no excuse last time. The pace was pretty fast, but she was doing it all on her own and was just very clearly second best that day. So maybe the cutback is what she wants is, she does go on 7, and the race 2 back, she kind of ran the same trip where she got a good trip on a fast pace and didn't quite see out that distance. So the cutback could be the key for this horse. She's going to have to come from off the pace, though, I think. I don't think she's probably making the lead in this spot. So new tactics for her, but gets Pratt, obviously, and he'll put her where she needs to be.
Yeah, she's one I ended up fading in this spot. I went with the number 7, Del Rey, a horse that I think could sit right off the flank of Stunner. If Stunner were to go to the lead, along with the number 5 family, could just kind of sit right off of that. You're going to get a good price. These are popular connections if you follow, Parks and that area, those kind of circuits. But Pimlico on a race or on a day like tomorrow for Black Eyed Susan Day, probably going to get a little bit overlooked with those top profile connections, in town. So I thought 15-1 could hold. This one certainly has some early pace. I like the cut back from 7 furlongs after, winning at that distance. Now cutting back to the 6 furlongs where she's won really impressively in her 2 6-furlong efforts, won by open lengths in both of them. One of them was off Lasix. I know the buyer wasn't super high, but at least did that and ran well. So seeing as she's rounding into good form right now, I could expect a decent effort out of her. And one at 15-1, I think is going to be some good price or a good price, again, in just a wide open and deeply competitive sequence. I believe you used the number 8, Echo Sound, as I'll throw the pick 5 tickets. Yeah, you went 4, 5, 6, 8, and 12. I went 5, 7, 10, 11, 12. Take it away on the number 8, Echo Sound.
Yeah, just another one that's pretty tactical. Has a good shot. Based on her numbers from last year, she has a good shot. If she's improved from 3 to 4, from 2 to 3, she's got a very good shot. If she does improve. We haven't seen her in 6 months now, so there's a good chance she has taken that step forward. She's dangerous. She's very dangerous. She's kind of the wild card in here. 5-1, I think, is a good price. She'd probably be my second pick. So if I was to come back and press up, I'd probably use the 4 and the 8.
She's one that the more I look at, the more I think I should include on my tickets, because I do agree if she takes a step up from that 2-year-old form, she's going to be really dangerous. Don't have her on there right now, but she was certainly in my choices. I kind of had her as a C, but yeah, definitely one I could see popping a huge effort if she comes back ready off the layoff for Rusty Arnold. I think the main thing that kind of dissuaded me was he's just 7% off this kind of layoff. And I forgot the formulator stat, but it's even worse when it's in a stake race. So just for that reason, I didn't use her, but she could certainly buck that trend. Great breeding. And obviously Luis Saez on board. We know how difficult he is to pass in the stretch. Neither of us used the number 9 long neck Paula, who was coming off a second place finish at Keeneland in the Palisade Stakes. Any particular reason, or just kind of saw everything you needed to see?
I don't know. I don't know how good she really is. She feels like maybe a bit of a Keeneland horse to me. I had to narrow down somewhere. I think she's going to be a little bit overbet just based on the last race. You know, she's been running against the boys. She's quick. I don't think she's quicker than the 5, though. And she's going to have to have new tactics today. Just didn't have the right vibes with this horse. Nothing too crazy to say, to be honest.
I agree. She lost to the horse last time out, who's going to be my top play on Saturday's card in the undercard sequence in Normandy Coast for Eddie Keneally and Luis Saez. So I believe they're in race number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Horse number 10 is Mila Rose, who last ran at Keeneland, ran before at Turfway Park. Both were wins. Buyer speed figure, time form, a little bit light. Going to need to step up. However, I think this is a really ambitious spot for Asmussen to place this runner. That last effort, it was a little head scratching. She kind of dropped back as they were turning around. It almost looked like she lost interest, but she re-rallied pretty nicely after getting shuffled kind of around that far turn. And I just think this one's getting better. I want to see the upside. Again, 10-1 is a decent price. I think you're going to get that because I think there's enough, again, firepower and the other connections and proven horses at the sprint distance that Mila Rose is going to need a big step up. But Jose Ortiz, Steve Asmussen, they team up successfully more often than not. So, I want to take Mila Rose on here. Number 11.
I don't know about more often than not at 28%, but sure.
They do well. Well, in terms of racing numbers, you did not use the 11, but I did. You'll be back for Tom Amos and Jamie Rodriguez. This runner's 2 sprint efforts are what I'm trying to focus on because both of them were nice. Both of them sat off the pace and then just kind of made that good run. 2 back, lost to GW's Girl, who we just spoke about not too long ago in this same race. But yeah, I think she's just going to sit a nice stalking trip. She's at a practical joke, so she certainly loves the sprint distance that they're going to be running at the 6 furlongs. Obviously had to stretch her out to the mile and a 16th in the Virginia Oaks to just see, what she had in the tank, so to speak. But ever since then, kind of went and got a quick little refresh. Now comes back in a very logical spot. If she takes a step forward from her winter and early 2025 form, I think she can certainly factor late in this race if the pace starts to come back to him.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Last horse we'll talk about is one we're really familiar with, coming out of the Grade 2 Santa Anita Oaks. I'll let you take us away here with the number 12 Vodka with a Twist.
Yeah, she's a tough call for me because she's going to be one of the shorter prices in here, and she's definitely got some numbers that make her a major contender. But her last 2 starts were not very good, and I guess you could say that. Maybe the distance that got her beat, but she ran perfectly fine in the Breeders' Cup, and that was going to route of ground as well. So, the more I keep talking about it, I think I'm probably end up leaving her off just because she's just too short for me. What did you think? Because I thought she was pretty bad last time in the Santa Anita Oaks. And I know Temma came back and kind of validated that, upgraded that form a little bit, but she was well beaten by Temma, and that was not Temma's best version either.
I think this is what she wants. This is going to be a bold take, so just bear with me. If she goes on this season and runs well and runs in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, I think the 7 furlongs is perfect for her. She has that run style. I hope she gets that far and has a successful career. She's done nothing but running graded stakes races. I think 6 furlongs fits her really well. Again, the 1-turn races in the Del Mar Debutante, that was really good behind Tenma. Ran behind Nooney in the Sorrento Stakes. Won against so there she was, I think is that horse's name, in the debutante at Churchill. So she's well traveled also, so she can travel to different racetracks. She's run over wet surfaces and won before, so she is versatile. She's gonna get a decent trip from the outside there, and she's gonna be flying late. She had that run under her belt already to start her 3-year-old season, now gets to cut back. You'd have to imagine she's still gonna have some of that bottom from the Santa Anita Oaks 2 turns, 8.5 furlong race. So 2 really strong bullets coming into here. This is certainly a top-end contender. I can't leave her off of my tickets. You'll see why as we we keep going here in the sequence. But certainly one I think merits a lot of respect. And we mentioned yesterday, Phil D'Amato has pretty decent numbers when he ships to Pimlico for this weekend. Looking at 3 for 4 in the money. 2 of those are winners, and an equal mix between turf and dirt starters. So yeah, one I thought warranted some respect. All right. I went 5, 7, 10, 11, 12. Jackson went 4, 5, 6, 8, 12. We'll move on now to race number 11. It's the very one stakes, because you got to say the twice. All right. Pick 5 tickets are up. I went 4, 6, 7. Jackson went 2, 11. So we're 5 different horses. We're all different. Jackson, lead us off with the number 2, Basarati.
Yeah, if anyone's going to wire this field, I feel like it's the 2 Basarati. It's really just those 2 numbers from last fall, the one in August and the one in October, where those numbers would be probably good enough to win this thing. The problem is she hasn't exactly been consistent putting up that number, and her last race was pretty bad to believe, which is why I'm not going to single her in this race. I'm going to use another horse. But again, her best effort is quite good. It's plenty quick enough. I think 5 furlongs hits her right between the eyes. It should be perfect for her. And she's going to be the one they have to catch in this spot. And I thought the favorite was kind of worth beating in this race.
I definitely thought the favorite was worth beating in this race. Is my one of my top choices is the number 4, Shoshana, who ran second in this race last year, 20-1 this time coming in off of some Gulfstream Park races. Although that last race, time form wise, was really high and really fits versus field. Has been pretty consistent in terms of that. Has been consistent with the buyer numbers, but the buyer numbers have been pretty low. So I don't know if you want to split the difference between them. But either way, I think this one has a huge shot coming in here. I'm just noticing that the what is this? The SK Maddie is 2-year-olds and upward. You don't just see that very often. But anyway, out at Del Mar, I thought Shoshana is going to have a big chance in here. She does like the Pimlico. She ran second to Future Is Now, who, if Future Was Now was in this race, 6-5, maybe shorter. I mean, she would certainly kind of lay over this field. I don't see why Shoshana can't fire a big effort. She likes this kind of circuit up at Laurel and Pimlico. Obviously, the 5 furlong race in the very one last year, she set the pace. But she's kind of been coming from off of it recently. Maybe she's lost a little bit of that speed, which is understandable. She's now 6, but one I wanted to take a shot at because I think she still can pass a few runners. So maybe Rojas is going to have this one placed a little tactically, and maybe we get crazy with a nice 20-1 upset winner.
I like it.
Fired a nice workout coming in, going 4 furlongs in 45. So that's a pretty fast one. So maybe they got some of that speed back, and hopefully it's on display tomorrow. I went also number 6, another 20-1 shot. Gift of Gab is going to be another horse on my tickets. Cutting back slightly to the 5 furlong distance, where she set the pace for about 3/4 of the race last time out at Laurel Park, going 5.5. Now cuts back to the 5, but just a really consistent runner. I know she's 6, so maybe we've seen the best of her, but she does always run her race, and that's at least the consistency is something I can look forward to. Second off the bench to start her 6-year-old season. She clearly still has her mind on running, so one I wanted to give a shout to. Noah just sent a text in our group chat, and I believe it's because I pointed out that this horse and he has some sort of inside joke on Gift of Gab that I don't know, he probably got beat by him in the past, knowing that guy. But just another one, also loves Pimlico, likes the flat 5 furlong distance, so one I thought certainly deserved a shot at 20-1. And then my last one is the number 7, also at 20-1. So I'm going 3 deep with 3 20-1 shots, hoping to just blow up the board here. Pino's Little Girl with our favorite no rider aboard. Really, I'm just looking at that last race at Laurel going the 5.5. She got bumped pretty severely and actually got put up into 4th after the winner got disqualified. The winner was pretty much all over the place. It was very erratic. But Pino's Little Girl, I thought, fired a really good effort. Her 3 turf tries as of late have been really strong, at least compared to some of her other form as you look through her page. I get that the $20,000 claiming race wasn't anything to write home about or anything, but she's at least placed herself tactically in both most of those turf sprints. I think the 5 furlong cutback is going to help her significantly with her coming from just slightly off the pace. She might not be able to sustain that run for that extra half furlong, but I think at the flat 5, I think it's going to fit her pretty well. She ran behind a pretty hot pace last time, so I think that's going to just, bring her into the race. She should be there and just in with a shot as they turn for home. And with a 20-1 shot, that's pretty much all you can ask for. So I'm using 3 of them in here, hoping to blow up the board and get something crazy as we go through this pick 5 sequence that's already probably going to see a couple prices as we go through it. This is your favorite, Jackson. If we want to just talk about Loon Cry for a second, I thought this horse is just better going 6 furlongs, better going longer. What were your reasons for not including her in your ticket?
Well, more so it's for me. She's never run 5 furlongs, so I don't know if you can say she's better going longer. I just don't know if she's going to be so far back there. And she's come off the layoff. She's got Pratt. She's got Clement. Like, she's going to be an awfully short price for a horse that's going to be 7-8 lengths back coming around the turn. I mean, look, her best race is probably good enough to win. It is good enough to win, to be honest. But I just think the price she's going to be, I think she'll be much lower than 9-5. And I think she's worth trying to beat because a lot of things need to still go her way for her to find the winner's circle.
No doubt at all. I get that she's never run the 5. She's gone 5.5 and she's won. So yeah, maybe I'll look stupid tomorrow. But again, I think she's just going to be too short of a price with those connections. So one I wanted to fade. We'll talk about the number 11, Jackson. This is the other one you used in addition with the 2.
Yeah, I thought she ran an okay race 2 back in the Lightning City where she didn't break the greatest. And then she was kind of in between horses and a little uncomfortable the whole time and tight a little bit down the backside. And then they could turn for home and she's trying to make a little bit of a move. And the whole kind of closed on her a little bit. It just seemed like she got a little intimidated a couple times in that race and didn't run quite as well as she probably should have. So I thought it was a bit of an underrated trip. The 100 time form share in that race is actually pretty competitive with everyone except the 9. So I think at 12-1, she's a horse I'm probably going to try to use a little bit. That's really it. I think she'll get a decent trip. She'll be just tucked in right behind the speed and get first jump on a horse like the number 9, who's going to be coming from way out of it. So going to use her. She's more of a price and going to try to get by with just the 2 and the
11. Katie's in the chat. Hey, Katie. Hey, you two. Weather should be great for Saturday now. That's always good to know. I hope so too. Admiral Hopper certainly deserves a look. Yeah, I was going through the race chart as you were talking about it there. Looks like 3 next out winners. The buyer speed figures have all held up, and you mentioned it. Just kind of got uncomfortable in there. So maybe from this outside trip, just sits a little bit cleaner. Her turfway form is fantastic, and she clearly handled it. Gulfstream synthetic. Has clearly been good. She could sit a nice tactical stalking trip. So one I might even throw in there towards the end, but. We'll move on to race number 12 on this day. I'll throw the pick 5 tickets back up. For race number 10, I'm 4-6-7. Jackson is 2-11. In this race, the Pimlico Special Stakes.
I'm 1-3-4-9-10.
Yes, Jackson is 1-3-4-9-10. I am 2-8-10. Big scratch of the number 7. Number 7, Pyrenees, who's your morning line favorite, not going to be running after running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. All right, so we'll start with the number 1, Phileas Fogg. Jackson, take it away on a horse that I would assume is going to be towards the front.
Yeah, I would think so too. And what I like most about his most recent race is not only was it a career pass and all that stuff, he finally set off the pace. And I know he was 4 or 5 lengths behind that runaway leader, but he hadn't really shown too often that he's capable of doing that. So I like that he kind of showed that new dimension. He's just a really good former now. He's one that we know is going to appreciate the distance. With the horse, with the favorite coming out of here, he's one of the most likely winners. So he's definitely I want to use him on my tickets.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I went with the number 2, Catalea Strike. I thought this one deserved a look. Has off track and fast track form, so kind of whatever happens should be all right. I think the 1 and the 3 are going to duel, and I think it's going to set up for Catalea Strike similar to how it did last time, with a lot of pace in front of him. He was able to close it down and win off nicely. Obviously fine off Lasix, but another one that's just very consistent. Has never run at Pimlico, but has faced some decent horses, and I think certainly fits in this group. Coming in off 2 wins, so in really sharp form, both on different surfaces there at Laurel. But I want to give this one a strong look. Coming in 20-1, I think is more than fair on the value that you'll get, and certainly one I think could pose an upset from a nice inside draw. Number 3, Encino, another one that you have using, another one that you used. And my apologies, I said the 1 and the 3 were going to duel. I meant the 1 and the 4. Awesome, Aaron. But yeah, go ahead with Encino.
Well, the 3 could too. He's very, very
Yeah.
quick if he wants to be. He's also capable of sitting just off though and passing horses. So Irad has options, can probably play the break. Just the horse finally put it back together last time. He was super impressive as an early season 3-year-old, and then wasn't seen for a long time. The 2 comeback races, I know he won the first one, wasn't that great. Then the Gulfstream race was just awful. But the Kentucky Cup Classic was quite good. He lost Mercante, who came back and kind of validated that number, finishing second last 2 weeks ago in the Turf Classic. A lot of horses in that race come back to validate that number, so it seems like it's pretty legit. So I think he's probably back to his best form. Not 100% sold. The slight stretch out benefits him, but I do think he's one of the classier runners in the race. He might be the class of the field, to be honest, and he's definitely one I want to use.
Yeah, he's one I gave a look to, but I don't know. I know he can sit off the pace. He's one of those with muddied up form. And maybe that's a good thing if you want to use him because you're finally going to get 6-1, which, you haven't gotten too often in his career. Just twice he's gone off in the 5-1 range. Other than that, it's all been a lot shorter. So certainly one I think that deserves a look, but one that I opted to not use on mine. But I like that you used them on yours. 4, Awesome Aaron, another one that's going to be part of the pace. This one has Johnny V aboard.
Yeah, another speed type, another rapidly improving horse. Like I said, I don't think it's impossible that Irad takes back on the 3 because he sees all the speed and he knows he can sit a little bit. And the 1 kind of just proved he can do it too. So if those horses take back and kind of just say, oh, Awesome Aaron's a big long shot, we don't need to go with him. He just ran a 104 Beyer, got a 126 time for him. I mean, that's legit. That's plenty good enough to win. The bigger concern is the Lasix coming off, I guess, a little bit. You don't really know how he's going to handle it. That's more of a guessing game. I don't try to think about that too much. I know Ryan's going to tell me that he can't win this race because he's by practical joke. He can't go 2 turns. Well, you know what? He just won going 2 turns, and he's won before going 2 turns. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. He needs to get the front though by himself. But he's 12-1. He's rapidly improving with every start. I want to use him.
Yeah, no, he's certainly a worthy opponent in here. He's been trying to punch through that class ladder. Blinkers off finally kind of got him to do the trick, and he was able to slightly sit off the pace last time. He was like right up on it, but he was at least able to rate a little bit. He didn't run off or anything, but yeah, that was a nice win. And 12-1 certainly fair value, so I'm not going to talk you off of that, even if maybe the breeding isn't my favorite. You got that. Again, morning line favorite 8-5 Pyrenees is scratched. Number 8, Star of Wonder is the other horse I'm going to use. Likely going to be your post-time favorite, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
I've been against this horse, and I've been for this horse, and every time I'm with this horse, the horse loses. Every time I'm against this horse, he wins. So maybe today's the day I buck the trend, or tomorrow. This is one I think is going to sit right off of the pace, whether that's Awesome Aaron, whether it's the one horse whose name is escaping me. I think Star of Wonder has a lot to build on off that last effort. 4-year-old now, they've always thought really highly of this one, but they brought him along nicely. They haven't really tried him into stakes competition yet, but it feels like he's finally ready. Feels like he's kind of come along well to start this season off that 1 mile win at Aqueduct in April. So this is going to be a test, and maybe I'm taking too short of a price, but if I'm alive, to this point in my pick 5, I'm going to want to have this horse because he can certainly win in this spot, but he is going to need to take a step up versus stakes competition, but one that I thought was worthy of using.
Yeah, I kind of expect him to be a pretty clear favorite when it's all said and done. I thought he was worth beating. I thought you mentioned something kind of interesting, that they've been very careful about going through this horse's conditions, which Brad Cox loves being 4-5 in races, but at the same time, like if you have a stakes horse, you would think after 2 or 3 or 4 straight, wins against allowance horses, you'd finally try some stakes foes, but they've been awfully careful about it. And I'm also not sold he's won some more ground. I mean, those two-turn races were not great. I know he had a little bit of trouble, but he was also 1-2 in the one at Keeneland, and he was all out to win that race at Churchill Downs as well, after being up in a very soft trip, slow pace, and vitality is not anywhere near where these horses are. So I'd be trying to beat him in here.
No, it's very fair. I thought that just maybe second off the bench now to start his 4-year-old season, I thought maybe that's going to give me cause for, a reason to use him and back him just one more time. But yeah, if he doesn't get the job done, I'm going to go ahead and sign those divorce papers. Another one that we're going to talk about is the number 9 Red Route 1. You're going to need a lot of pace for this one to set up with Paco Lopez aboard. But if this race does melt down, he's probably the closer that you want.
Yep, you covered it. Needs a lot of pace, needs a lot of help, but he can absolutely fly home late if they do. So I want to use him as well. I'm trying to use a lot in here, trying to beat that favorite.
I like it. We'll talk about number 10, San Siro, who we're both using. which has not been a common occurrence with today's sequence. But that just shows, I think, how tough it is. We haven't even been able to make a joke about one of us copying the other's picks. Coming off of a mile and 3/16, which is what this distance is in the Ben Ali Stakes, finishing second to Tennessee Lamb in there. But ran the right race, just kind of got past late. I thought San Siro almost looked a winner at a certain point in there, but just never quite finished the job off. But has come along really nicely to start this one's 4-year-old season. And I think just a repeat of that effort, you're going to get 15-1 now instead of 3-1 that you got last time. So the value is going to be there on a horse that I think still has some upside. What did you like about this runner?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the race 3 back was quite good. I mean, he won that race pretty easily. We'll take it. Has come back to validate that form, as has Nash. They both stepped forward out of that and won a couple nice allowance races. No shame in the Orange Classic run. And then last time he was in a really, really bad spot the entire stretch. I mean, it sure seemed like he had a lot more to offer once he finally got out after the race was already over. He galloped out in front. And he was just in tight. Never really had the clear sailing he was looking for. I think you can make a pretty legit case. He was probably best that day. Now he's running the outside. Now he gets Luis Saez. He's getting the ground he wants. I think he's a very logical, very live long shot, I should say. He'd probably be my top pick.
I like it. Certainly one I wanted to give a strong look to too. And this combination of Brendan Walsh and Luis Saez, I went over it yesterday on the Final Furlong podcast with Emmett Kennedy and Charlie Freeman. In the past 45 days, or past 60 days rather, Brendan Walsh, Luis Saez are 50% with when they team up together. And that's 50% in the money and 50% winners. It's 7 for 14. So they're either first or last. So they're a bit of a Ricky Bobby type connection, but we're going to use them. And San Siro, I think, has a big shot. So that is race number 12 going as the Pimlico Special. We're going the Preakness distance of 1 mile and 3/16. Now we'll move on to the Black Eyed Susan as we're going 1 mile and 1/8 for the 3-year-old fillies. We both have singles in here, Jackson. You singled the 2, I singled the 6. So we're going to start with you. And then number 2, 15-1 on Princess Aaliyah.
Yeah, bold single here. But this is the kind of race where I kind of want to take a stand. I mean, I'm looking through the form of all these horses. They're all kind of just run the same numbers every single time. There's very, very little separation from the favorites to this horse. And really, if you go back to her race 2 back, that number is kind of good enough to win this thing. And the key with her, I think she wants as much ground as possible, which she's finally getting. The cutback didn't do any favors last time. She also runs way better when she's able to be involved early. And it sure seems like she's going to be able to do that from here as long as she breaks. There's not that much speed in here. And what speed there is, they're not really they're not true like burning. We're going to go 22 and 46 and a half. Like they're going to try to low belong in here. So I think she's going to be able to get good position, forwardly placed. She'll just grind away the whole time. We know she likes the muddy track. We know she likes to be forward. We know she has numbers that are good enough to win this thing. So I'm going to just use her at 15-1 and hope I'm right and hope we blow this thing up.
I like it. This is one of those sequences where, hey, take a shot, fire away, and hope you're right. Let's talk about the one of the morning line favorites, second to Running and Gunning, but the 3 Margie's Intention, I should say, now in the barn of Brad Cox. I thought this one was just a case of this runner needs Lasix. I don't know if you thought something else, but what were your thoughts? As this is Louisiana bred facing Open Company for the first time.
I mean, for me, it's more of this is a big step up in class, and she wasn't even winning those last couple of races against state bred horses. And now it's Pratt, now it's Cox. I mean, she's going to be wildly overbet. She's got no speed figure edge at all against this group. So at 3-1, I would never ever use her.
Yeah. How about the number 4 Running and Gunning? This is one that you have one figure to go off of, and the one figure still doesn't blow you away. So I wasn't sold on this horse at all. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I also with this one, I mean, I kind of mentioned I don't think there's a whole lot of speed in here, and her best race by far came when she got somewhat of a step. She does need some help because she does not have much speed. I'd be more bullish on her chances in the 3s, but again, at a short price, I'm just not going to use her.
Yeah, I mean, Quiet Side and Simply Joking didn't necessarily come back to run lights out, but the race has held up decent with Kinsey Queen and Princess Aaliyah both coming out to win their next out starts and improve buyers. So, the form is what it is. And obviously, Simply Joking and Quiet Side both ran in the Kentucky Oaks, which, they all flew up front. So it's set up for good cheer, and she ran away with it. So maybe you don't look into that too much. Yeah. But, yeah, one I thought was just going to take a lot of money for a horse that needs a setup.
If you're going to take the closer, aren't you supposed to take the 5, who's It's 5 times the price and every bit as fast on numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely the play. If you want to take a closer, if you really think this thing's going to heat up, has many numbers to get back to as opposed to just one for the number 4. So I'm with you. I don't disagree. Although my top pick is going to be the number 6 Paris Lily for the boys in blue, Brendan Walsh and Joel Rosario. Isn't this one just supposed to go to the lead? Like this is the one confirmed horse where clearly I think when she gets to the lead, she's at her absolute best. She proved that last time in the slop at Keeneland. I get that was allowance optional claiming company. This is a step up, but I think Joelle gets this one to the lead. She fired a nice work coming out of that. Now ships up here. Again, the Brendan Walsh barn has been on fire. City of Lights are going to like the off track, and you might just get that tomorrow afternoon as well. But I think she's just rounding into really good form right now, and one I think is going to go to the lead. And, hopefully as they turn for home and we hear a quarter to go at Pimlico, hopefully Paris Lily's in front, and hopefully I just get to see her kind of kick away. But we'll find that out tomorrow. But yeah, I want to go 6 Paris Lily on top. 8-1 is very fair. And I think you're going to get that because I think there's going to be a lot of overbet horses in this race, including the number 7 Reply for Brittany Russell, Rapoli Stable, and Irad Ortiz. Did you give this one a look? Obviously, only the 3rd career start. Finished a decent 2nd last time out, but I didn't really know what to do with this runner.
Yeah, she deserves a look. She's got to get a lot faster, obviously. This 2 numbers won't be enough to win this thing. I agree. I think she could take some money. She could kind of become the wise guy in this field. If she's 8-1, though, I think 8-1 is a fair price. But again, I kind of expect her to come down from that, and I don't know how sure I'd be willing to take her.
I think probably like 9-2 is probably what we're going to end up getting on her. A Marth, last one we'll talk about here is she's 4-1 coming out of the Grade 1 Ashland Stakes, won by wire-to-wire winner La Cara. Did you have any thoughts on this one? Obviously, that last time out in the Ashland, the mile and a 16th trip, kind of compromising to any horses that want to come from off the pace. So I was mainly looking to that 2-back effort, which I think does give her a shot when she ran really huge in the Busher Invitational at Aqueduct. But what are your thoughts on this runner? She's going to get stretch out to the longest distance of her career.
Yeah, and I mean, in a lot of ways, she's kind of the class of the field, right? The Busher came back pretty live when Drexel Hill finished 2nd in the Oaks, and she was right there with her. And the Ashland was obviously a tough race as well. So this is class really for her. I do agree. I'm not sure she really wants to go this far, but if you are the best horse in the field, sometimes you can overcome that. And I think you can make a legit case she is the one to beat. I'm not going to use her because I just didn't want to settle for too short of a price in this race, but she makes plenty of sense in here.
I like it. I'm not settling for a short price either as I'm singling the number 6 Paris Lily. Jackson going even larger, singling the 2 Princess Aaliyah. That is the late pick 5 tomorrow from Pimlico Racecourse. Pick 5 tickets one more time. I went 2-8 with 5, 7, 10, 11, 12 with 4, 6, 7 with 2, 8, 10 with 6 for a $45 ticket. Jackson went 2-6 with 4, 5, 6, 8, 12 with 2, 11 with 1, 3, 4, 9, 10 with 2. So we're all over the place. But I think if I'm looking correctly, no, we can't both get alive to the last leg because we are very different in that 3rd leg. But either way, it's a difficult sequence. I think this is the most different our 2 tickets have ever been. In just in terms of this sequence was impossible, man. You joked around, you texted before the show as I was entering the picks that you were going to send a $600 pick 5 ticket. I still wouldn't have been confident that we had all the winners if that was the case, just because of how complex. I said we. I wasn't calling you. I said we wouldn't have had all the winners.
Sorry, I was agreeing with you. That was I agree. I wouldn't feel confident either with the 600.
All right, just making sure. But yeah, so certainly a difficult sequence. If you don't want to play the pick 5, you can play the pick 4, and it might be a little more affordable that way. But that first race we mentioned, seeing the board is going to be important. The number 9 is a Euro shipper listed with no rider at the moment for whatever reason. I don't know why that's even allowed. At least Wesley Ward puts on Shane McClanahan or something. Like he'll put Trevor Hoffman in the saddle and just like jockey change it day of. Anyway, before we get to
all the things to complain about, that's the hill you're dying on.
Yeah, that's the hill I'm planting my flag on that one. No, so. Difficult sequence tomorrow, but should pay really well. Should be very competitive. Jackson, you and I were doing this, maybe a little late second switch. We decided to do Black Eyed Susan Day today. on Get Bucked. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing Preakness Day, late pick 5 coverage. I think I'm going to be able to join you guys. We're going to go 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do my best to join you guys. If not, Jackson's going to be hosting with, of course, Kaylee Shapiro, our normal co-host. That's going to be entertaining. I'll tune in any way that I can. I will try my best to make it on the show for y'all, and we're going to go over the late pick 5 for Preakness Day. But this has been the late pick 5 for Black Eyed Susan Day. Jackson, any parting words? What do you have going on this week? I know you said you just filmed a show for Saturday's sequence. Where's that going to be?
Yep, going to be on in the Money Media channel. It should be up there already. Did it with Will Humphrey, Michael Rosie, and Callie. I don't know her last name, but she's with Laurel. Yeah, I think you're going to meet her on Saturday. She said she's coming on ABR, so you'll meet her. She's really cool. Yeah. It was a really good show, so hopefully we pick some winners there and find it over there. And I kind of hope I don't see you tomorrow because that means that you're partying it up. Then I hope you do that instead. But if
I
have you, of course. But if you're having a great time, go ahead and take care of that.
I hope I'm partying too. That might be more of a Saturday occasion, as I think tomorrow I have a pretty important dinner to get to at like 7:30 or 7. So we'll see. But either way, I'm going to be having a great time out of Pimlico. But I'll miss you guys. I'm not able to join. But either way, catch the late pick 5 on Preakness Day here on the Gallop Out with Jackson, Kaylee, and maybe me. But yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the show. Best of luck and crush your bets the rest of the day, to quote Howard, and we'll see you tomorrow.